Let's get started. Some of you know there was a questionnaire, and a bunch of you filled in the questionnaire, which is great. So I've got a lot of questions to give answers to tonight. And many of the questions are things that could be useful to anybody. Some of them are very specific to a particular piece of software that may only be of interest to the person asking the question. So I'm going to start with the answers to the ones that are more of general use. And this is going to include things like tips and tricks for using ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, AI for creating websites and visual collages, AI music copyright questions, using AI to create logos, AI for Gmail, AI for running a small business, how to handle disappearing website data, using AI anonymously, how to identify when you're speaking with AI, how to use specific AI tools, and more. Now, since a lot of you didn't ask questions, and I'm going to see if I can answer the questions of the people who are actually here rather than the ones of people who are not, unless they're really great questions. But in the meantime, you can put other questions into the chat, and I'll keep my eye on it. And if I see something that I can answer quickly and on the fly, I will. Okay, so first question I'm going to answer has to do with, actually came from Andreas. Andreas, who cannot speak, or at least not speak to us, but he can chat. He's having trouble with his mice, all six of them. Okay, so the first thing, Andreas actually asked three questions. And the first one is he wanted to know some tips and tricks about using ChatGPT or Claude. So I'm going to cover some basic tips and tricks to do with Claude and ChatGPT. Some of them you'll probably know, and some of them might be new. So for you, Andreas, just an area of prompting, you may know this already, but the more specific you are, and if you can be role-based, the better. So instead of saying, write a blog post about AI, you'd say something like, you are a tech journalist. Write a 300-word blog post explaining AI to small business owners in plain English. That kind of approach works especially well in ChatGPT and Claude. Another thing, and this is something I stress a lot in my seminars, and that is use iteration, meaning not one and done, meaning don't settle for the first answer, because the first answer will very often be pretty general, particularly if your question is general and not very specific. So ask things like, can you make it longer or more detailed, or add an example, or make it sound more human? Think of it like collaborating with an assistant, not just asking questions and having it generate answers. And you'll find after a while, in fact, I'm sure many of you have already, that you'll build a relationship with an assistant. Of course, upload files, images, or PDFs. That works for ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini. You can drag in PDFs or images and ask, summarize this contract. Extract all action items. Turn this chart into a table. Claude in particular is especially good at long documents. ChatGPT is better at writing code and doing analysis. Actually, Claude has just upgraded their code thing, so they're able to write amazing things and create apps and all sorts of fun things. I want to tell you a very quick story relating to this thing where it says summarize this contract, because I built a custom AI tool, what they call a custom GPT, that's basically an AI for nonprofits, and it handles everything that a nonprofit needs. And what happened was I showed it to a friend of mine who deals with a lot of nonprofits, and he showed it to a tribe of land registry tribe in somewhere in Ontario, Canada. And they thought, well, we'll try it, because they had a contract written by their attorney about a month ago for $1,000. And they asked the AI for nonprofits if it could write them a new contract that they needed. And it did. And they showed it to the attorney, and he said, what's going on here? Have you fired me? Am I out of a job? this contract is brilliant. I couldn't have done better. What are you guys doing? And they told him that the custom GPT wrote the contract. And he said, I'm sorry, I can't charge you $1,000 to look over this contract because it's better than anything I could have written. I'm just going to charge you $50. So they were pretty happy. Okay, another thing that you might not know is what they call the scratch pad trick. And that is you start the message with something like, let me think out loud for a bit. And you write rough notes. Claude or ChatGPT will, quote, think with you and help you clarify your ideas. It's great for brainstorming and decision making, and it works fantastically with the voice tool. If you're using voice with ChatGPT and you just start rambling about what you're looking, what you're thinking about doing, and you're putting your ideas together as you ramble, as you talk, it's amazing. It's amazing what will happen, and it's a very fun thing to do. Another thing you can do, a lot of people have, or some people have trouble with prompting. And quick way around that is ask the AI, say, what prompt would give you the best result if I want X, whatever it is that you want. And it'll write the prompt for you, and much more optimized version than you might write. Another thing that works good in ChatGPT and Claude is multi-step instructions. Instead of saying, write a sales letter, break it down. Say, first, write 3 possible headlines, then outline the letter, then write the full version. It gives you more control and better results. And another thing to know about Claude, this is a tip just for Claude. By the way, talking of Claude, I'm using Claude more and more these days because I really like the writing style kind of better than ChatGPT in a lot of instances. And I'll often compare the outputs of both of them to see which one I prefer. That's why tools like Poe and Monica are very good, because they enable you to try them all out and see which you prefer. But anyway, one of the things about Claude is that Claude tends to, quote, forget earlier parts of long conversations if it hits the limit of what it's got in its memory banks, especially the free version. If that happens, start a new chat and paste a short summary of what you're working on. Okay, does that help, Andreas? Good, okay. Now, Andreas has another question. He said, I try to have a dialogue with ChatGPT, but at times he seems to not duplicate me. For instance, I tried to create a logo, and however I formulated my idea, it couldn't duplicate my message. Now, this is an example of using the right tool for the right thing, because ChatGPT is not the right tool for logos. If I'm building a logo, I'll do two steps. The first one is I'll go to Ideogram, which is still, although things are changing every week, it's still my go-to for images because it just creates exactly what I ask it to, and it's really good for adding text. And that's Ideogram, and it's free. Although I use the $8 version, $8 a month, because it just works faster. But it's fantastic for images, and it's great for logos. So I tell it that what logo I want, and it gives me 4 choices. And usually one of them is fantastic. And if not, I'll just say, okay, do it again, or remix, or do it. And remix, you can say, keep 80% of what you did, but in the other 20%, do this. Now, here's where it gets really fun. You guys know about and probably use Canva, right? Anybody?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Canva is an amazing tool. It's free, although unfortunately for the really great stuff, the great AI stuff in Canva, it's $15 a month, but it's so worth it. But here's the thing. Canva has these amazing 2 AI tools in them. One is grab text, and the other one is grab elements. And what that means is you open Canva and let's say you created that logo in Ideogram. So you drag it into Canva, and so the logo is now in Canva, and then you click on it. And then you click on the top where it says edit, and you suddenly get all these options, AI options, one of which is grab text. So if you've put some text on your image in Ideogram and it's done a typo. Let's say it gave you 4 images and the text was perfect on 3, but the one you really like had a typo. What you can do is click on the image, click on grab text, and then literally select the text that you want to change. And instantly you have that same text in the same font, the same size, and you can edit it. And you can move it around. You can make it bigger or smaller, which is a fabulous thing. I use that all the time. The other thing is you can grab elements. So you can grab any part of the image and have that separate out from the image and move it around and make it bigger or smaller. So it's for building logos and getting them exactly the way you want. Let's say it did a logo and it put the text at the bottom and you want the text on the right. With the grab text and grab elements, you can just move everything around. So it makes building logos very easy and very fast. And you can't do stuff like this in ChatGPT. Okay, does that explain that, Andreas? All right, now Andreas has one last question, and then we'll move on to somebody else. So Andreas said, AI automation. Which tasks can I automate? How and with which tools? And for those of you, a lot of you probably know this, but in recent months, the shift in AI has been shifting over to what are called AI agents and automations and things where you can tell the AI what you want it to do, and it goes off and does those things. And it's pretty cool. And so to answer your question about automation, these days you can automate a huge variety of tasks with AI, especially repetitive ones. So here's a few of them. Things like repetitive business tasks are things like email follow-ups, appointment scheduling, lead qualification, data entry. And some of the tools for that are a tool called make.com, Zapier, or Tidio. These are all places that will help you automate using no code. And there's a phrase that's being bandied around a lot now called vibe coding. And vibe coding is just basically getting an AI to create an app for you or create a whole program. I saw one last night where the guy said, I want you to create me a clone of the Netflix site. Now, that's a pretty complex site, right? But it did it, and it did it in a minute. And suddenly you had this working clone of the Netflix site, because these vibe coding apps, which I'm going to explain a little bit later, are phenomenal. They are absolutely extraordinary in what they can do. And I'm starting to use them more and more every time I think of, oh, I wonder if I can build X. Usually I can with some of these amazing tools. It's like things that you used to have to spend thousands of dollars and many months with programmers writing these apps for you. You can now write the app for yourself, and you do it in plain English.
Can you repeat again which app you use to create apps? Which AI?
Actually, the ones I've been using most recently have been Minimax is one. There's another one that I like, which is Lovable. Lovable has gotten better and better. And they've got free versions that are limited, and they've got $25 a month versions and stuff like that. But even Claude now will write apps for you. Although I have to tell you, I started using Claude on the weekend for writing some apps, and it kept running into errors. And a friend of mine was doing the same thing, and she also ran into errors. But we both were able to build what we were trying to do in Lovable and had no problems. It just built exactly what we wanted. And what I mentioned before that you asked about was Zapier, but Zapier is a little complex and a little expensive. And make.com is another one, and Tidio is another one that will build apps. But these days, there are so many of them. They're popping up every day. There's also one that is claiming to be the ultimate one. It's called famous.ai. And I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but it looks extraordinary in terms of what it can do and what it can build.
That famous.ai would build apps AI as well?
Yes.
And when you mentioned the other one, I just want, because I'm trying to write down the apps that you're talking about, and sometimes I'm not sure about how you
So,
spell.
okay.
So
Who's talking?
this is Marley.
Oh, hi, Molly. Hi.
I'm sorry you don't see me because my laptop is underneath my desk and it's closed. And
Okay.
what I meant to say is, I wonder, are you gonna send a copy or of this recorded video tonight?
Not tonight, but I will. I am.
Yeah, the class that you do tonight, are you gonna send us?
Yes. Yes. I'm recording it, and I'm going to put it in the AI Connection Club.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
I'm sure about the names. Okay.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Now, another tool that's really great for automation, for nurturing leads and onboarding clients and replying to clients and putting people into funnels is Go High Level. And Go High Level is incredibly powerful. It's 12 different, it replaces actually 14 different other softwares and puts them all together and handles all your marketing. But it's anywhere from $300 to $500 a month, which is no fun. But the great thing is that I've partnered with a company in Canada that enables AI Connection Club members to get it for 90% off, so they can get it for $30 a month instead of $300 a month. So that's pretty neat. Okay, another area where AI is tremendous is in automation is content creation, automating blog posts and social media captions and YouTube scripts and newsletters. You feed prompts into the generative AI tools, and then you use other tools to schedule them. So to generate the content, you could use ChatGPT or Claude, and then to schedule the posts, you could use Buffer or Hootsuite, although now agents are starting to be able to do that too. In fact, with Minimax or Lovable or the other one I mentioned, Famous AI, you could very likely build yourself an AI agent that will do the scheduling for you. Let's see, another area that you can automate is customer support. There's more and more AIs coming out that will answer common questions. They will route queries. They will do 24/7 chat. And of course, you can train chatbots on your FAQs or your support documents, which we do in the AI Connection Club as well. And you can automate video tasks. You can have AI do transcripts, subtitles. It'll even now edit rough cuts. It will take an hour-long video and take the best 30 short clips that you can use on TikTok or Instagram. And it will add the subtitles and the captions and the music and the other videos that complement what you're saying. It's
Who
pretty
is that,
amazing.
Tony? Who would do the videos?
Descript can do that. Opus Clip is really good for doing that. Wisecut is really good for that. For transcriptions, Descript is what I use most of the time, but there's also Whisper and Assembly AI. And the thing about these tools, there's something like 60,000 tools now.
Oh.
And we try and keep up with the latest ones at the AI Connection Club, but it's quite a task. 6 months ago, it was easy.
Yeah.
There would be one new amazing thing that would come out every week. Now it's 3 a day, so it's really getting wild. And it's impossible for one person to know or have tried all the 60,000 tools. Roger Harrison says, what's the AI connection? It's my online community that helps beginners and intermediate people understand and learn AI and interact with other people. I'll put the address, Roger, for you in the chat. Okay, yeah. So that's a very quick overview, Andreas, of the kind of things that can be automated. It's just about anything that's repetitive, anything that you don't like doing and you keep having to do over and over, you can get AI to automate it for you. Okay, so now I'm just going to check to see, there were a couple of people who asked about music and music copyright stuff, and I don't see them here in the chat. However, Neil might be interested in this.
I am interested in this for sure as well.
Okay. All right. So the questions that were asked, what are the legal rules in using AI to create music for licensing or as part of a musical creation for copyright and ownership and commerce? And the other question was, similar one. Oh, yeah. It's can AI created songs be submitted for commercial TV and radio and compensation purposes? So I'm going to get into that now because it's a very interesting area because it's constantly changing. It's a moving landscape. However, here's the bottom line of how it stands right now, this week, today. It could be different tomorrow. But basically, fully AI-generated music can't be copyrighted in the US. Can in China, but it can't be in the US because US law and the Copyright Office require what they call meaningful human authorship. And pure AI outputs, like the songs created by Suno or Udio, they're considered public domain, so they can't be copyrighted. However, AI-assisted compositions, where a human makes creative choices like writing the prompt, or editing it, or changing it afterwards, or telling the AI to change this or change that, they can qualify for copyright. You basically have to know your AI tool's terms of service. Many platforms transfer the rights to you, but they may limit commercial use or require attribution, but many don't. And another thing to bear in mind is even with granted rights, platforms often don't defend users in litigation, nor do they insure against it. So you have to bear that in mind.
I have learned, if I can share discovery about that, copyrights. As I'm putting a show together and I wanted to remix songs, I want to use AI to remix in another style.
But are they your songs?
Some are, but my point about that is I've tried with Fusion, and I've read after that a lawyer online was a music lawyer, and she was saying that to be very careful when you sign up for those AI sites to build songs, you need to read what you are signing up for, because this one in particular, she was saying that it's free, completely free, and the quality of recording is very good compared to a lot more that I've watched. But the point is, you're not legally allowed to use professionally the song that you have created. But the worst part is they can. You sign up without knowing in the probably 50 pages that you should read. And the last page, she was saying that you sign up to authorize them to use your song and sell it, but you are not allowed to use your song creation professionally.
Wow, that's awful. In a situation like that, what I would do is I would take that page and I would ask ChatGPT to summarize it. So I don't have to read 50 pages. And I'd also skip, and I'd also
people read the sign up before they accept.
Yeah, but if you get it to summarize it, you'll get all the key points, and you can say, and look out for dangerous stuff, and it will, and it'll warn you about stuff like that, and it'll do it in seconds, rather than the amount of time you'd have to spend reading a 50-page.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Thanks.
You bet. Okay. In terms of the tools, the top ones right now are Suno, Udio, Canva, Refusion that you mentioned, LoudMe. And here's the thing, if you do something that you want to publish and you want to have it and make money from it, keep a record of your edits and what you did. Keep a record of your prompts so you can prove your input, because that's going to be required in the future. So you can prove that you did actually contribute to the AI and that he was like your writing partner. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Okay, this one was asked by Jack. And it was a very interesting question. What Jack said was, sometimes I need data that was available in the past that has been updated since. Example, what was the weather forecast on such and such a date and location? Sometimes just a few days or weeks ago, that information is no longer accessible. I tried it with ChatGPT and about gas prices in Clearwater. It replied with gas price averages statewide and countrywide. I need specific gas prices for January and February 2025 in Clearwater to substantiate an insurance claim, ideally prices at a BJ's gas station. Those prices were publicly posted somewhere. Why are they no longer available? They should be recorded somewhere or part of history somewhere, no? How does one access the Wayback Machine? If such innocuous info is not available, why then do we hear that once the info is on the internet, it is there forever? That's a myth, and I'll explain that. Just as an example, 25% of all web pages that existed between 2013 and 2023 are already gone. And that number jumps to 38% for 2013. And a company that keeps track of this thing found that basically 66% of external links created since 2013 now lead nowhere. And that's partly because sites overwrite, especially if they're dynamic sites giving daily information, they'll overwrite that information. Now, archives do exist, but they're scattered. The Internet Wayback, the archive Wayback Machine that you mentioned, it has 866 billion snapshots, but only for pages that its crawler or users captured. And government's data has formal retention rules of how long they will keep daily climate records. They will keep daily climate records indefinitely, but there are other things that they don't keep. And there are commercial data vendors, e.g. OPIS, that will sell curated station-level fuel prices back to 2007. So there are ways to get the information, but you have to dig sometimes. There's a National Digital Forecast Database for weather stuff, NDFD. There's a few of them. There's 3 of them. What I'll do is, rather than going through them now, I'll send you separately, Jack. I'll just send you the information that I have on this, because there are places where you can find the gas information that you want, but you have to do some digging. And the information I've got shows you how to get you have to get the Gas Buddy Clearwater, Florida BJ's ID. And once you have that ID, then there's things you can do. But I'll send you that separately rather than going through all the information, because there's a lot of information. But basically the bottom line is the internet is forever is basically a myth, because a lot of it is forever, but a lot of it is not.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, so let me see what's next. Oh, Larry's here. So Larry had a very interesting question. Larry, you're still here, right?
I am.
Good. Okay. Oh, yeah, I see you. All right. So this is a great question. Larry said, when speaking on the phone with a couple of companies, AT&T and a big box store, I encountered conversational AI. I couldn't interrupt and finally had to hang up. Is there any way to identify when you're speaking with an AI? And so I actually asked an AI this same question. And what it said was very interesting. It said, it gave me 5 things that you can do that will help you identify if it's an AI or not. One is to ask an unexpected or non-contextual question. You're asking about something in particular that has nothing to do with this, and you say, what's today's date, month, day, and year? AIs often struggle with real-time accuracy. Or you could use a puzzle. You could say, count the number of T's in Ioieteto. Apparently that's a word. A human nails it, but AI often gets it wrong. And the other thing is to drop random non sequiturs or odd prompts. Let's say you're asking it about real estate, and then you suddenly say to it, say potato. A human might laugh or say, what do you mean, say potato? An AI is going to get quite flummoxed, because it won't have a clue what you mean, because it doesn't really understand jokes. And the other thing is, bots might respond super quickly to your saying that, whereas a human might hesitate or laugh. And the other thing is the bot might try and sanitize it in some way. Now, another thing is AIs tend to respond too fast. No hesitation, no filler words, no ums or ahs or human pauses. They often use perfect spelling, grammar, and overly formal or generic tones lacking authentic warmth. So that's another way that you can spot an AI, although they're working on improving that all the time. But I like the thing of throwing in completely non sequitur nonsense, because that will pretty soon tell you if it's a real person or an AI. Another thing you can do is listen for odd acoustics or a lack of natural breaths or an oddly flat cadence. And another thing is if you're unsure, say you'll call back, then verify. But scammers may pressure, but a legitimate human organization typically won't object. So those are some of the things that you can do, Larry. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Good, you're welcome. Okay, so let's see what's next. So I'm just going to check. Michael Phillips, are you in the room? Okay, I don't hear from Michael, so we'll move on. Oh, okay. John L. is in the room. Good. So John L. has a couple of questions.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, John. So let me get to your questions. Okay, these are very good questions. Actually, all the questions have been very good. All right, so how can I use the major AI platforms anonymously? Is this even a possibility? So the answer is yes, it is possible, but true anonymity does require some effort. And here's some proven techniques. One is use an anonymous or burner email. Some chat platforms, e.g. ChatGPT's quote temporary chat, allow usage now without a login. You can also try accountless chatbots like duck.ai, built for privacy and not tracking users. If you want to get tricky or a little bit difficult to set up sometimes, you can use a VPN to hide your real IP address, or use a service like TOR for stronger anonymization, but expect slower performance and quite some complexity in setting it up. There are certain browsers that are more privacy oriented, like Brave, and they have extensions like Privacy Badger and Cookie Auto Delete. Avoid sign in with Google or Facebook, or use some of your burner email addresses instead. In ChatGPT, you can use temporary chat as a setting, and you can also disable memory training options in the settings so that it won't use your data for any other purposes. And another tool, and again, this is a tricky one, it's called Proxy GPT. It will anonymize queries before sending them to ChatGPT or other of those. So the answer is yes.
Tony, the burner email sounds very interesting. I use certain laptops that are, I call it airspace. I only use it at a coffee shop. Some of the research I'm doing, but I don't want to, have that research being pulled directly into GPT and tied back to my MAC addresses. That's kind of what.
Sure, that's smart.
It's not clandestine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's the type of research. I'm investigating some stuff on 5G and 6G international research on it, and I'm pulling in stuff from Russia and so forth. I just don't want to have that tied to my IP, basically.
That makes sense. Good. Thank you for the question. Now, you also had another question. You said, how would I use AI to go about creating a collage, i.e. combining a series of separately generated artworks into a single graphic image using the commercially available tools? The end goal would be inclusion in research papers or something as mundane as using the collage graphic for silk screening t-shirts. Yeah, there's actually a number of tools that are very good for collage. The obvious one is Canva, because it has a drag and drop collage maker with Magic Studio AI features. Adobe Express has free photo collage templates that you can edit. There's a few others like Kitty, Kitti, Photor, which is Fotor, Pixel Dojo. They all do that. There's also one called CG Dream and OpenArt. OpenArt, for those who don't know, is an amazing tool. OpenArt is not only amazing at images, but it's fantastic for videos. And it used to be that what it did was pretty amazing, but pretty difficult and tricky or time consuming to do. You could upload 20 different photos of you or someone and then say to it, okay, now put this person at the top of the Eiffel Tower or put them in a boat or a gondola in Venice. And it would, and it'd look absolutely as if they were in that place at that time. Now, what it does is you only have to put up one image and it does all that. And you can say, blend this image with that image and put them in this location, and it'll do that too. And then the fun part comes when you say, okay, now make it a video. So it will take it, and you've got control over the camera shots, the different shots that you want it to give, the camera movements, and suddenly you have a video of your friend that you can give them as a birthday present, showing them touring Paris or whatever it might be, and say, hey, it looks like you were enjoying yourself in Paris that time. Remember the fun we had? And they'll go, what? Sorry?
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. All right. So Michael says, what would be the best AI program I should use to manage my small personal counseling activity? I'm looking for simplification, more time outward looking rather than overburdened with paperwork and sloppy to-do lists. AI can take so much of that kind of stuff off your plate, but the first step is you basically have to write down the things that you want to have taken off your plate and the sequence of events that you'd rather not have to do yourself. Now, it's also, are you familiar with what a CRM is?
Yeah, I have a very good one.
Oh, which one do you have?
Goldmine.
Oh my God. It's been a long time since I heard goldmine and very good in the same sentence. Because goldmine is very ancient and very complex and almost incompatible with everything else.
Wow.
But yeah, I've just recently had a situation where we had to, or friends of mine who have a phenomenal CRM company had to try and get all her information out of goldmine into the CRM. And it took a month. It was a nightmare. But it sounds like you're happy with Goldmine. If so, then what I was going to recommend won't really apply.
I'm happy with it, but they're not going to do much more updating. They're going to let it be.
Okay. The thing is now, I don't know if you were here earlier when I was talking about vibe coding and automations and things that where AI can create apps for you.
Cool. No, I wasn't there. Sorry.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and show you a couple of examples of that. So
What button do I click on the menu to share screen?
No, I'm going to share my screen.
Okay. I can't see you from where I am.
You can't see anything?
I just see the computer with a on-off switch with a camera.
Huh. I'm about to share my screen.
Right. Good. Okay.
I'm now
There we
sharing.
are. Yes.
You can see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm going to pull up, should be able to see.
Yeah. CRM app builder.
Yeah, this is one of these automation tools called AppyPie Builder, and it will build all sorts of different apps that you might need. And one of the things, it will create a CRM app for you. You just have to tell it what you want to keep track of. And it will go ahead, and a few minutes later, you have your own personal customized CRM app. Now, I tried Claude this weekend just to see, and it built me a very primitive one because I just asked for a very primitive one. But I could add a new prospect, select what kind of coaching person, and various other information. I could keep track of the prospects, the commissions, the interview data, and I could have asked it to create a lot more things. But it was interesting that Claude, which is free, could create a CRM. It can create pretty much, and you can customize it. In fact, it says here, customize artifact. Now I'm going to jump over to Lovable, because this one is extraordinary. And this one will build apps and create complete websites just by chatting. And you just tell it what you want to create. And off it goes. And you see it in the right-hand column. You see it writing all the code. And
How much is this one?
I think it's 25. Actually, let me check. I think it's free and 25. I'm just about to, I was so impressed with it on the weekend that I'm just about to pull the plug and go from free to the 25. Here we go, pricing. Yeah, 25 a month. And one credit is one action, one thing that you're building. So you can build a lot with it. And the free version gives you 5, so you can just at least try it out. It's an AI software engineer, which enables anyone to build for the web. Simply chat to instantly build websites and web apps with no technical knowledge needed. And the free plan gives you 30 credits per month. Okay, it doesn't really explain there. Now, they're just about to launch, they announced yesterday, an upgrade to this where you're going to be able to build AI agents that will go off and do all sorts of things for you. So I'm very interested in keeping track of Lovable. Another one that I'm also going to be checking out is Minimax. Now, Minimax has been known for video and audio and images, but now they're a Chinese company, but they've suddenly come out with...
First, I wanted to see how good this agent is at cloning websites. So I built this Netflix-style streaming platform. I simply gave it a one-line prompt and look at what I got. The prompt is clone Netflix, and then I gave it the URL. Now, this is what differentiates Minimax from just ChatGPT or other things that we know. Minimax is really an agent. First, what it does is it creates an outline of what it's doing, and then it follows each of these steps. It has access to web tools and can build code, as you can see here on the right-hand side. And it's building not only code, but it's also gathering information on the web. It's taking screenshots, it's taking source data, and here you can see all of the information that it's gathered so far, and it's already ready. So you can see here, this was the sped up version of my whole prompting experience. This whole thing probably took a minute instead of a few seconds. But in the end, what it gives you is it gives you the PDF with the task summary in the Netflix homepage clone, and it walks you exactly through what it did. So in this case, it's created the live website, which is live here. We'll check that out in just a second. But here's the execution process. It analyzed the different data. It did a project summary. It did asset acquisition. And here it analyzes exactly everything that it did. It outlines the technical features and the final deliverable. The key files are really the ones that can be downloaded here in the Netflix clone.zip. And if you're curious into the exact steps that it did, it followed this to-do list. This was the to-do list that it started early off in the process. And as you can see here, before we talk too much, let's get right to the website. So we can see here that the website is deployed at this website and it's live. Look at that. I just created this in just a few minutes and it's not Netflix. This is the replicated thing that we created. So it has the exact same style as Netflix. And when you hover over it, it has the same color scheme, probably the same font, and the same outline. So if we go now to Netflix and compare, this is strikingly similar. Look at this compared to that.
So it's pretty wild, huh?
Yeah.
And now I'll just show you very quickly without going into any of the details. He then said, okay, take my YouTube channel and make it Netflix style.
Channel. Let's see how it tackled that more complex problem. So the prompt I gave it is a little bit more in depth, and I will link that the things that it's run Netflix clone web.
I'm just jumping forward.
The task. So let's check it out and see if it was successful. Here we go. This is the Netflix style as we're used to it, with the search video at the top right corner, the login button, and the search functionality. We have my most viewed video, how to use Suno AI tutorial, as the cover, and it looks very similar to the Netflix style. And here we have all of my videos. Look at this. They're all linked based on different categories, latest updates, most popular, AI music and audio creation. This is super exciting, and I can't believe it did this well on the first try without me having to send any follow-up prompts. Let's see if we can also watch these videos. So what about if we're interested in the easiest way to write a Twitter thread? It links me directly to my YouTube channel, and I'm able to watch it. Have you ever wondered how to write? Wow, it just did all of that. So this is a
Okay, I'm going to show you a couple more things real quickly that he also built. Yeah, he basically, for anyone who doesn't know, SEO means search engine optimization, which means making your website so it's more likely to show up in the search engines. And you can pay companies $2,500 a month to do search engine optimization of your site and all that kind of stuff. He built himself an app that just does it for him and did it in about, I think it was 5 minutes. And then he did something else. He built a game.
and I'm placing my bet. Now it gives me the dealer's hand, which shows a 6, and my hand, which is a queen and an 8. So an 18 is pretty strong. So I'm going to say I want to stand. And it tells me that it's the correct.
So anyway, you get the idea. This tool, this Minimax, can build complete programs, things that would typically take months and cost thousands of dollars. You can build yourself in minutes and for very little money and save an immense amount of time. It's pretty wild. Okay, so Michael, these days, the basic steps that you would take are 1, clarify your needs and write down exactly what it is that you want an AI to do for you, and then start exploring the different tools that I mentioned, Lovable, Minimax, HappyPie, even Claude, although Claude I'm not ready to recommend yet because I had trouble with it. Okay.
Good. Thank you. I'll do that.
Okay. Now I see there's some questions in the chat. Do the same rules apply to images? I assume you're talking about copyright. Are you? Is that Paul? Paul, when you said...
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, that is the case. But with images, it's different because they can only be created by your prompts, pretty much. You definitely have a lot of input into them. Leslie says, will this be available to watch afterwards? Yes. Not immediately, but yes. What was that browser again, says Gabriel. Brave. Okay, John says, has anyone tried to use ChatGPT, Claude, etc. to review and summarize research findings from a subscription database like PubMed? For example, provide a complete meta-analysis of research on... Yes, so long as the site is not behind a firewall, as long as you've got access to it. But my favorite tool for research these days is NotebookLM.
How do you call that?
NotebookLM, NotebookLM. Anybody here not familiar with NotebookLM?
Yeah.
What earlier?
What is it? What
I'm not.
stands for?
What does the LM stand for?
Language model.
I thought so.
All right, I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to show you NotebookLM because this is an amazing tool. Let me share this screen. Okay, I'm going to move these guys over here, and I'm going to go over to... You can see a web browser, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is NotebookLM, and I'm going to take, let's see, natural ways to lower blood pressure. Now, what is amazing about NotebookLM is, let's say you're researching an area and you found like 50 videos on YouTube all about the area you're researching, but you don't have time to watch 50 videos. That could be 25 to 50 hours, right? So what you do is you just tell NotebookLM, add here, add source, and you can add a website or a YouTube video, or you can paste in some text or a Google Doc or Google Slides, or you can even say discover sources. And you click on that and you tell it what you want it to find, and it goes off and it finds the web pages and the articles and whatever it is. But anyway, once it's got all this stuff here, in the free version, you can have 50. In the paid version, which I think is $20 a month, you can have 300. But the thing is that once you have all this information in here, you can then ask it questions, and it will study all these videos and articles in a few seconds, find the information, and for instance, it will create what's called a detailed briefing document, where we'll take all the information and break it down into the different subjects and their headings and all the kind of stuff that it's found from that particular, or from all of these articles. Then you can also say, okay, create an FAQ. So it will create what is considered high blood pressure and why is it a concern? And it'll give the answers, another question, another answer. It will also create a timeline of people involved and when and what they discovered. Now, it will also create a mind map where it will take the different areas and subjects and you can break them down and examine them.
Wow.
That's
Yeah. Pretty well. It really is. But you ain't seen nothing yet because the thing that it does that's so wild is I can say, basically, I can have a couple of AIs, a male and a female, scan all this information and then create a podcast or an audio summary. One of the ways I find this useful, recently I had a 3-hour meeting here in the studio with someone, and 3 weeks later, I couldn't remember everything that we had discussed or even everything that we had agreed. And I thought, oh my God, but I had recorded our conversation on a little handheld recorder. So I dumped it into NotebookLM, and then I had these guys get the information from it and give me a 10-minute summary. And you'll see that it's pretty wild.
Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive today all about blood pressure. More specifically, we're diving into natural ways to lower those numbers. So you gave us a really interesting set of sources this time around.
Yeah, we've got advice straight from cardiologists, some really interesting research summaries, even a few personal stories.
And that's what makes these deep dives so fun. You get the whole picture.
Yeah.
So today we're sifting through all of it to figure out what really works.
Yeah. What does the science actually say?
What strategies actually move the needle and what's worth talking to your doctor about.
Sounds good to me.
All right, maybe we should start by just defining what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so hypertension, high blood pressure, it's often called the silent killer. Any idea why that is?
I know that some...
So you hear how real they sound?
Yeah, I can't believe it's both AI.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And now there's this mode where I can play it and I can join the conversation.
Wow.
Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive today all about blood pressure. More specifically, we're diving into natural ways to lower those numbers. You gave us a really interesting set of sources this time around.
Yeah, we've got advice straight from cardiologists, some really interesting research summaries, even a few personal stories.
And that's, oh wait, someone wants to join. Hey, go for it.
Okay, what do the kidneys have to do with blood pressure, high blood pressure?
That is such a great question.
It really is.
And it's actually super important to understand.
Yeah.
So our kidneys are like the body's natural filters. They play a huge role in regulating our blood pressure.
How?
They manage the balance of fluids and electrolytes like sodium.
Isn't that amazing?
I don't believe this. Wow.
Tony, can you keep that script as it's running? And can you get a textual version of that backed up?
Yes, you can download it. And I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. Yeah, you can download it, and you can download it as audio, and it's just extraordinary. I use it so much. For research, it's fantastic. And it's, as I say, for summarizing meetings, it's great because it gives, and they really do capture the essence. They capture the important points in their discussions.
Now, Tony, it showed a mind map at one point. You just cut and paste. You could just use that mind map. Is that yours? Can you own that?
Yeah, everything you do in Google NotebookLM is yours and it's free.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, which that reminds me of another tool that maybe you guys don't know about, which is Google AI Studio. Okay, I'm going to show you something pretty mind-blowing. The last thing was pretty mind-blowing, right? But I'm going to show you something else. All right, so this is Google AI Studio. So you just literally put Google AI Studio into Google, and this comes up, and then this comes up. Now, when you're in the section called Create Prompt, you're basically talking to Gemini, which is like ChatGPT. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to this, Stream Real Time, because you'll see, it now says share your screen. I should actually give you a little bit of explanation of this. Very often, or every now and again, I will get a new piece of software because it has a function or a feature that I really need. And I open it up and it's got like dozens of menus and submenus, and I hunt around and I finally find the thing I'm looking for, and there's no instructions. So I don't want to spend a lot of time reading a manual trying to figure out how to do the thing that I got this software for. So I call on Google AI Studio and I ask the AI to show me. So this way, not only can I not have to contact tech support because the AI will do the tech support for me, but I don't have to spend time reading manuals because the AI will teach me anything I want to know about the software. So here we go. I share my screen. Now, in the next slide, you'll see that I actually only shared a small version of my slide. I could have made it full screen, but I didn't in this instance. So now I'm sharing this screen.
Okay, I see a slide presentation about the evolution of writing tools. It has images of a quill, a typewriter, a computer, and a robot representing different eras. The text says AI is just a tool and that humans are the source of creativity. Is there anything specific you would like me to comment about this slide?
Yeah, I just need your help on one thing. It's very often I need to take the formatting of one part of a slide and use that same formatting somewhere else on a different slide. I know there's a tool called Format Painter, but I can never remember where it is or how to use it. Can you help?
Yes, I can help with that. You're looking for the Format Painter tool, which allows you to copy the formatting from one part of a slide and apply it to another. In PowerPoint, it's located on the Home tab. In the Clipboard group, it's the icon that looks like a paintbrush. To use it, first select the text or object with the formatting you want to copy. Click the Format Painter icon. Then click on the text or object where you would like to apply the formatting. Is there anything else I can help with?
Let me try that right now, and I'll see.
Okay, I'll be here if you need any more assistance.
Okay.
Okay, I see that you have selected the title of the slide. Now you can click the Format Painter and apply that formatting to another part of the presentation. Let me know if you need more help.
And it works.
I'm glad I can help.
Okay. Thanks again. I'll see you later.
Okay, have a good one.
You too. So you realize how powerful that is?
Yes.
Now,
It's extraordinary. I'm still blown away by it, and I use it a lot.
could I use it to answer my question about a automation of an affiliate marketing process?
Oh, absolutely. And I actually have answers for you on the question that you asked, and we'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
I just want to check if there's anything else in the chat. Clint's question on, I'm going to cover that. Roger Harrison just joined your AI Connection Club. Great. Welcome, Roger. As a musician, I have video that I'd like to be edited and posted on social media with appropriate text. Would also love auto blog posting on my Wix site for multiple something pages I have. The post would include appropriate imagery. Good. Yeah, AI is very capable of doing all of that. Let's move back to the questions. Actually, what I wanted to say to you, Clint, was, you remember I mentioned at the very beginning that there were a lot of questions here that people had that would apply to everybody, but some were very specific. And your question was basically how to use a very specific tool called Affiliate Real AI, and how to use it to drive traffic to your website. Now, that's not going to be of general interest to everybody else because they're not using that software or trying to do that thing. However, I had AI do a bunch of research on it, and I have all that information in a document that I will send to you because it tells you exactly step by step how to use it. And
I guess my real question was a different one, and that was, how might I automate the affiliate marketing process? If you're letting someone use affiliate marketing, in my case, a student for a bootstrap, how can you automate it?
Like I said earlier, the first step is to itemize exactly what you want to automate.
Okay.
Without that information, because the answer could be a dozen different things based on what that is that you want to automate. And if it was me, I would make the list of exactly what I need automated, and then I would ask NotebookLM or one of the GPTs, and I'd explain, this is what I want to do. I want to automate all this. What are my best tools for doing that?
Okay. Just regular ChatGPT, eh?
Yeah, ChatGPT is getting really smart these days. I use it. I have it open all the time because I use it all the time.
Thanks for the document on affiliate reel and this answer. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any last minute questions before we wrap it up for tonight?
I'd like to talk about something that I've seen this week for the first time. I use all the time Duck AI, and because it's saved on your computer instead of online. And I've seen a screen appear from Microsoft from my computer saying that from now on, if you use AI, Microsoft is copying what you do from your computer. I got a pop-up from my computer about that. So I was like, what? So apparently they give themselves the authorization to copy what you ask AI for their purpose.
You're welcome, John. But you got that message from Microsoft?
Yeah, on my computer.
You were using duck.ai?
Yeah. It's come from DuckDuckGo, but it's called Duck AI. Yeah.
But the message, was it a real message or was it one of these scammers?
It's from my it was in my computer saying that from now on, Microsoft but it was not from the browser. It was not from AI or the browser.
It sounds suspicious to me. If you see it again, can you screenshot it and send it to me? Because I'm very suspicious of that.
Yeah, I will do more research. If you didn't, I was curious if you heard about that. If you didn't, I'll do more research about that.
Good. So was tonight useful?
Yes, very much. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, Tony. Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys very much. We're going to do it every week, and it'll be all new questions and different questions. And there, at the AI Connection Club, there's a page where you can put your questions in advance.
Yes.
Same time, 7 p.m., same station.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys very much for some wonderful, tough questions.
It was great, Tony. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. It's funny, a year ago, the questions were so much easier. Now people are getting so smart. And the questions they're asking, and I read the question, I go, wow.
Hey, Mike. We learned a lot from you.
Great. I'm glad.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Thanks
Okay,
very
good
much.
night.
Good night.
Oh, well,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.